Greetings adventures and foodies. Today we're diving into the world of a dual-wielding behemoths with Titan Script, Titan Fury and Titanic Strike build. Before the synergy rolls that came with chapter 2, this build was immensely hard to roll. So with the new synergy rolls, let's see if we can manage to hit something decent with the Hand of Fate quest capping out at 3k mark. Let's get straight into the build that has some massive potential. Hit it, massive, Titans, it's kind of like the theme, they're both big. Anyways, before we get into all the nitty-gritty details about the build, I quickly want to showcase what you can actually expect with an item level around level 70, prestige level 60 and the Hand of Fate quest capped at 3k mark. So let's get straight into it. I would normally just charge and get the whirlwind off so we can get the rend on the target, keep spamming so we can get the slice and dice combo point at max here, and then I would just keep spamming until I can just Titanic Strike, some slam actions, and then just repeat this cycle. I would occasionally just tap in a Hateful Strike, just roll it, and it is a good rotational put in. And as you can see, we can solidly lay on 8k. Yes, if I did not talk, I could probably lift this to like 9k. I have done that, but me talking and multitasking is not my greatest strength, as you all know. So yeah, as you can see, we just popped over 8k, and that's about it for the single target. The AoE target that you can expect for this build is just about, let me just reset here. So if we just get up here, we have combo points and everything. So let's just get this up and running. You can see here we're laying about 15k state. Let's call it that. It's a bit higher, of course, here, but let's keep it and say we have 16, 15k, something like that. Around 8k and 15k for those two. And without further ado, that's what you can expect from the build. This is kind of like to give you an idea what you can do with an entry level build. But how do we get to these numbers even? So let's take a look at that. Starting at level 1. It'll begin here in Death Knell. So before we go any further, of course I'm going to share with you the level 1 ability, the carded abilities that we've chosen. Then we're taking a look at what talent cards we carded, the Mystic Enchant and the Gearing, and then we'll go into the wish list. The wish list is going to be what you want to be looking out for while rolling. I am going to show you exactly what I went with, but I'm going to talk over and explain a few things I would have done differently should have redone this build a second time. So grab in, lean back, grab a cup of coffee, and let's get straight into it. Starting with the pivotal abilities that you're gonna need to ascend to a Titanic Might at level 1. Starting strong, we have the Sinister Strike, Battle Stance, Dodge, and Battle Shout. All the carded abilities to even further improve the might of this Titanic strength, we're going to be using Fel Infused Weapon, Titanic Script, Slam, Titanic Strike, Titanic Mutilate, and Execute. I used Fel Infused Weapon because I actually thought that was the best whenever I carded this. However, I've been proven wrong. Fel Infused Weapon is not best for this build. Wind Fury Weapon is actually better for the end game, but that requires you to do some really heavy investment into this build. If you're not going to be super heavy into investment, I'm talking like, let's say 300 to 500,000 marks, probably even deeper than that, I would suggest you go with Fel Infused Weapon. If you do, however, want to go all the way and go 400 to 500k marks deep into this build, then I really suggest you pick up Wind Fury Weapon instead of the Fel Infused Weapons. And of course, then you really want to also go for a few more of the synergy rolls that you can go for with the Wind Fury setup. Now, the second thing I want to mention is about the slam that I've picked up. This is probably one of the other things I would change up if I had the chance, because the slam together with the Dreadnought and the Draconic Slam basically log us in with 3 extra cards, we could free up 1 ability and 2 talent cards. You can see what I mean with the talent card in a few minutes. But the slam itself, I would probably replace with something like Hateful Strike or the Raging Blow, something like that, to really go in and get that extra rotation in, to also deal some extra single target damage, because it is a strike that vastly reduces the cooldown and it's just great for single target smashing. And it also frees up a ton of slam talents that you want to roll in the talent section in general for the wishlist, but let's get back to that at a later point. So with this setup, as mentioned, Fell Infused Weapon, Titan Grip, Slam, Titanic Strike, Titanic Mutilate, Execute. I would change up Fell Infused Weapon with Wind Fury if you're going really deep, and probably get Hateful Strike or Raging Blow instead of Slam. So that's my take on it for the level 1 abilities and the carded ability. Oh, and a little side note, the Sinister Strike, you want to reroll that for Heroic Strike later on. Moving straight on to the carded talents. The start of the show, what's going to really elevate this up. Starting strong with the bread and butter of this build, the Titan's Fury. Now, what do Titan's Fury even do? Let's have a quick look at that. Titan's Fury is really going to be your bread and butter. It basically does, whenever you use Titanic Strike, which is your combo point ender, you now consume all your rage, which then grants you Titan's Fury for 4 seconds per 100 rage consumed. Now, Titan's Fury itself is a buff that grants your abilities to cost no rage, melee auto attacks award combo points, and your physical damage dealt is increased by 15%, but 25 if you're using Titans. And this is one of the buffs that really helped this build out here in chapter 2. Now mix this together with the Titanic Strike also, and the Execute, the Whirlwind and everything. You're just gonna hit like a tank plowing through the fields. Moving on to the next talent, we picked up Dreadnought. As mentioned, this goes really well together with Slam. It's just a massive AoE button for whenever you have the instant slam from the Draconic Slam. You can just instantly just make a massive AoE slam and just deal a ton of physical damage in a cone in front of you. The Southpaw Strike is just more damage together with the Overheated Strikes, Mental Quickness, because it's season 9. Yeah, mental quickness, of course, everybody. Even if you're melee, you go mental quickness for reasons. Draconic Slam for those instant and powerful slams. Overwhelming Rage to really boost your rage up to 500. This is mandatory pick if you want to go this build. If you don't have this, then forget it. Together with the Titan Fury. Pretty much, rest of this can be changed up. I would say Mental Quickness, Titan Fury, Overwhelming Rage is probably the important ones, but the rest can be kind of like, yeah, you can do whatever you want with them. But this is my take on it. This is my suggestion for my build. And if you want to copy it, you can actually have a great base for moving onward. Then for the last one, I picked up Sudden Death. You could go, instead of the Sudden Death, you could pick up the thing called Deadly Combo. Deadly Combo is, instead of having a chance on every little melee hit, Deadly Combo basically states that whenever you spend combo points, there is 20% chance per combo point to grant you Sudden Death. And next to that, you get Deadly Combo, which increases the damage of your next execute by 30% and attacks 3 times. So if you basically just can spam Titanic Strike a bunch of times, get the execute up a ton, then you could suddenly have 90% increased damage on your execute, which gonna hit like a dump truck. So yeah, that's basically it for the carded talents. What would I change? As mentioned, Dreadnought and Draconic Slam, I would probably swap these out. There are better options to go for. I would probably pick up, well, there's a few options. You could go with Enrage. You could go with something like Outrage. You could go with things like like Battle Fury, you could go with Blaze of Blood, Berserker's Momentum, Gurubashi Berserker. You could go with Wind Fury talents. Basically, these two are up for grab for whatever you want to go for. Then that's it for the card talents. Now I want to move on to the Mystic enchants that I picked up for this setup. For the Mystic enchantments, we went with Precision, Balance of Power, Free Opportunity, 3 Necrotic Mutilates, a dual-wield specialization, improve slice and dice to increase the duration and the bonus attack speed of it, the Polax specialization for just getting that more physical damage and crit chance, and then lastly, I picked up Hard-Headed and Natural Born Fighter. There are probably better alternatives out there. These two last one I basically picked up because we do have physical and these just boost this by 2% in flat fire. We have the overheated strikes, and then I picked up Stormbringer just randomly, so yeah, that's the reason I went with that. We could also have picked the Holy, so if I do like this versus the Strength and Face, this could also have been a thing, but there's probably better alternatives. Vigor, if you want anything, you could also go for some energy regen like Vigor or Vitality for this point. So yeah, there's a few options. Do what you want to do. This is my take on it at least. So moving on to the gearing section. For this, you want to pick up Strength as your primary attributes, two-handed axes, as they are just the highest DPSing two-handed weapons you can get your hands on. If you're not running a single two-handed, then it's Flame Wrath, polearms, but this time around, if you're running Titan's Grip, two-handed axes is your way to go. Then for the armor alone, you want Palliative 2 Judgment, DPS, Retribution, Paladin set, and if you can't get your hands on that, anything that provides spell power and attack power and strength and stamina and intellect is your way to go. Lastly, for your trinkets, amulets and rings, you kind of want to have a look at spell power, attack power, hit rating, crit rating, anything alike in those, but primarily spell power and attack power to boost your damage even further. That's it for the gearing. Now we get onto the most exciting part about this video, the wish list and what you should be on the lookout for while rolling this build. Of course, it's going to take a standpoint from what I carded and what plans I showed in the beginning. So let's have a look at it. And as per usually, as you can see here on the screen, we got it up. This is it. I have not really come up with anything for the green section, but basically anything that can just boost your other abilities. I'm very sorry, but the list would just be so long this time around because there's so many synergies around. So whatever you can find that isn't like anything like this, you can fit it in this one, as long as it gives you just a tiny bit bonus to anything. So moving on, we're going to cover the epic and the legendary sections for what you want to have a look out for. First off, for the abilities, we're going to have a look here. Whirlwind, Late Storm and Hateful Strike. Those are what you want to have a look out for. But most importantly, for the legendary section, you want to have a look out for Slice and Dice and Raging Blow. Those are probably going to be your best abilities that you can pick up. Next to that, in the legendary section, of course, you want to pick up cooldowns, anything like Recklessness or anything like that. Now, for the talents, you want Shredding Blows and Flurry. They are just generic, great melee physical talents to get. Next to that, opportunity for that extra damage for your Titanic Mutilate and Puncturing Wounds for that extra crit chance. Gurubashi Blood Surge and Improved Execute as the last two. Then on to the legendary section for the talents that you want to have a look out for. You want to say there are two options here. Dual Wield Mastery is my take on it, and of course there's the other option that states dual wield specialization. I prefer the dual wield mastery to just get the haste up because it matches really well with the Titanic Fury talent that we have, that our melee hits generate combo points. The more times you can hit, the more combo points you can generate, the more Titanic strikes you can fire off, and it's just a better version in my opinion, the two. So if you can pick up dual wield mastery instead of dual wield specialization, they do not stack, then my suggestion is dual wield mastery. Remorseless execution for that reset of slice and dice. So if you spend 5 combo points and you have remorseless execution, your slice and dice will reset to its max combo point. So it's really great. Urabashi Berserker is just an all-rounded great ability to, talent to have. So really something to keep if you get it in Rage, Outrage, and Whirl of Rage. The Whirl of Rage does whenever you Whirlwind, you get Blood Rage, and whenever you have Blood Rage, you get 10% increased damage and melee haste from Enrage. And whenever you are triggered by Enrage, you get 5% extra melee physical damage from Outrage. Just to round it up again, you Whirlwind, Word of Rage, make you get Blood Rage, you hit faster and harder with Enrage, and you hit even harder with Outrage. It's really straightforward for it. Just such a great combo with those 4 abilities and talents. So really something to log in instantly if you get the chance. Lastly, you won't hit crit, physical damage increased, and melee haste. This time around, I'm not gonna say keep spell power if you get it, because though it scales, I'm not gonna say keep it, because we got so many talents that we need in order to really elevate this to the higher numbers. So keeping the spell power talent would just be a less efficient DPS increase for it. It would be in DPS increase, so like down here, for example, but the things like shredding blows, opportunity, function runes, anything that scales with your raging blow, your execute, your whirlwind, your titanic mutilate, anything like those is just going to be better off for you. So keep that in mind whenever you're going to have a look at the talents, whenever you're getting to reroll. Now for the interesting part. This is kind of like the first build I really did after the Senju rolls came out, and from rolling around 60 build this season thus far, where I would say probably 59 to 58 around of them is from previous chapter 2 without the Senju rolls. I could immediately feel the increase rolls that just mixes well together. So thank you Ascension, Team Ascension, for doing a great job. I can easily say this might also be chanced just with one build, but I really felt that in the leveling phase and at the rolling phase, I just got so much more in the synergy department, and things just match so much more well together than previous. So yeah, all in all, I'm really happy with season 9 here and chapter 2 that launched. I'm going to make another video here soon, hopefully sooner than this one. This took a bit too long to come out, but I really hope that I can soon make the Proccat 3.0 so we can still teach in under 1 hour with 1 potion of experience. And I'm gonna see if I can make it from Mana Storm level 1 all the way to level 60 character in less than an hour. Be prepared for that if we can make it. And yeah, since I've already shown a demo down at the Target Dummies, I think this is about it. For anyone interested, I'm going to leave a link in the description for a guy named Opto, and he has a crazy variant of this build that reaches plus 50,000 single target here on a loon. I've looked it over. He has some crazy rolls, and it must have taken him tons of scrolls to re-roll it, but it's a beast among beasts, and I strongly recommend checking it out. It is very not beginner friendly. Let me set very big period from behind that, because it requires you to have high mythic gear, high rating gear. It requires you to have a ton of scrolls to re-roll. So yeah, it is a high rolling build, but if you really want to go into the details and really brush down for a epic version of this build that really goes into the depths, I'm gonna leave a link to his guide. So make sure to check out his channel. He has some great videos. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. See you in the next one. Stay legendary, everybody.